Let's make a fishing pole putter.
Well, it's completely crappy outside, and I figured let's do something a little more fun than showing you how to build all kind of stuff. Let's build a fishing pole putter.
Tools of the Trade Tuesday.
Tools of the Trade Tuesday. Tools of the Trade Tuesday. The Trade Tuesday. Okay, welcome back to the McGolf shop, and really quick. You get inside and you don't have a putting green, and what do? Or you're in the office and you have that nice short pile carpet that their offices are infamous for, and you just got the golf itch and you need to scratch, particularly those of us in the, we'll call it the mid-northwest, where the temperatures go from snowy 32 to a balmy 70 within a week. So what are you doing between those time frames? Well, this is what you do. So what did I do? Well, I just basically put together a putter. Any specific putter? None whatsoever. Turns out I found an old putter from Maltby back in the day. Alright, Maltby back in the day, and it's just a particular putter, just a stainless steel putter with a little rubbery insert in it. And then I got a boogered up putter shaft. See that little bit of a thing right in there? That's all boogered up, and I glued it together. And I thought, well, you know what? I made one of these for a friend, and I made for a couple for some schools and hospitals and stuff like that. To keep kids entertained, and that's kind of how the genesis of this thing is. As the story goes, the very first one, buddy that I've worked with forever has a tremendously bad back, and he says, you know what, you got everybody golfing on this thing, and I'd go golfing if I had a Nike Callaway Pinkster putter or golf club. So you sure? He says, yep, and being a man of his word. So I sent out and I called up Louisville Putters. Louisville Putters makes a great wooden putter, and they do hickory sticks now. So I had them inscribed Nike Callaway Pinkster on it, and then I had made a putter for him. Well, knowing full well that he would go golfing, and then knowing full well that he would be down in the back and I would have to do work for him, I came up with a different solution. And he's a big fisherman guy, so I went to the local store, got me the cheapest little crank handle reel that I could find, and I used hose clamps and I put it on there. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do? Well, what I did was I took one of my leftover balls, drilled a hole in it, stuffed the line right in it, and then put a little bit of a screw. Now, that's probably the highest I've ever had one of the screws stick out, and you just push it down or hit it down, and it does pretty good. And I thought, well, I'm going to present that to him, and you call it the Hillbilly Putter. And from that particular model, I've made plenty for children's hospitals and doctors' offices and lawyers' offices. Turns out the ball rolls pretty true. So real quick, how do you make one? Well, bring it back here. You get the putter put together, and the last most important piece is this eyelet. All right. So I'm going to move you around here. We're going to do a little. Okay. So what you see is the. Yep. You see pretty much what the putter is, and you see I've been doing some work. And some work to get ready to be done. So what's the big deal? Well, the thing that really controls the ball is this guy right here, which is an eyelet. And again, you can buy those from any store that you wish. Now the trick is, if you notice, that's a round end. It's a round end, and in order for that to work better, it's got to be flat. What I like doing is put it on the edge of something, or you can take your no bounce and you just pound the end of it. Once I get the hold of it. There we go. Well, I want it down. There we go. And now it looks like that. And the reason why you do that is when it sits on the shaft right here, you put some epoxy on there and it sticks better than if it was round. The other trick of the trade is, what I do is once I've stuck that on there, well, how do you keep it on there while you're putting that on? Well, I use a piece of electrical tape and I just wrap it around there and it holds it in place. Same thing over here. Underneath here, what I do is I rough up the underneath side and on the shaft so that the epoxy has a place to sit. Take some electrical tape and then wait for it to dry. Now, in prelude to all that, what you want to do is, what you see here in gray is heat shrink. It's used on the electrical equipment. And this is a smaller, and all it has to do is slide over the back end. So you can use a smaller diameter piece down here, and then these two are the same size. So once you get this thing glued on, you want to slide that piece on, and then you want to slide this piece on and let them float free while this is all drying. Once it's dry, you can slide that on, slide these on, hit it with a heat gun, and it just gives it a more refined finish look instead of the hose clamps like I was using. Came back over here, you drill yourself a hole into it, and you can go about that far in there. Run the line in, put your screw in there, and just keep turning. You just keep turning until it gets down there, and then with a different hammer, if you wanted to, you can beat that, but you really don't have to. Now, the funny part about it is, since you've put that in there, it will roll not over top of that, but it still rolls true because now you have this weight wanting to make it go that direction. Then you go and you do a couple of test putts to make sure everything's okay. And then it sits up like that. Hit it and putt, and away you go. And then you have hours of indoor entertainment. So if you find some of those, it doesn't have to cost a lot. You don't need a Scotty or a Peretti or a Toulon to make these things happen. In fact, you'd be silly if you wanted to. But you get, just find you a head or two on sale, or find a cheap putter and put that on there, and you have a very little investment with a lot of time. So hopefully you liked it. If you did, like it and subscribe, and we'll go over some more. And let's see your scores. Go low.
Let's make a fishing pole putter.